You have to change the system.
All of my colleagues, the other teachers, they're ready to do this work.
It is going to be challenging.
I heard about this opportunity, so I was like, let's do it.
Two unique California counties, Kern and San Diego, forged an alliance to transform the way equity work occurs in schools and districts across our state. This partnership was awarded one of only 2 statewide grants under the California Equity Performance and Improvement Program to improve educational equity for all.
The people who are participating in this project are school teams from San Diego County and also Kern County, a few high schools and also an elementary school or a K-8 school. The superintendents of those schools, the principals of those schools have a commitment to equity and ensuring that students have what they need to be successful.
We've been close partners on a number of other initiatives, so I think when the opportunity came to write the grant, they were eager partners, and we felt that it was a good match for us to work together.
Kern County and San Diego County Office of Education have a lot in common. We serve similar demographics, a large number of English language learners, African American students, and we serve low-income students, foster youth, homeless youth.
Approximately 700,000 students, 10% of the California student population, live in Kern and San Diego counties, where data trends tell a startling story of inequity. African American and English learner students consistently achieve at levels below their peers. As a result, there are huge disparities in education achievement and life outcomes. Our grant is focused on more than 33,000 African American and approximately 140,000 English learner students. While both the demographic and the scale of the work vary between Kern and San Diego, our equity teams in both counties have committed to ensure every single child successfully completes school with the widest possible choices of post-secondary options. We call this project the Continuous Improvement Process Equity Model, and we started it from the ground up.
This is the first time that the county office has had an equity department. And so looking for models that have been successful has been a challenge, but a strength in that is that it gives us the opportunity as a county office to design something that actually works for our schools and our districts and our county office. So that's the positive part of it.
This continuous improvement process, with a focus on equity, is how we go about transforming schools into places of opportunity for all students. That means answering the question, what's next, requires us to understand the problem and the system that produces it, and then focus collective efforts to determine the outcomes that matter. Next, we generate ideas for change as we test and build the evidence we've gathered. In the coming years, we will need to proactively communicate the work we've done as we sustain, spread, and scale our change ideas.
The journey of equity never ends.
In the first year after our equity launch, our facilitators guided participants through a series of learning experiences, including
take a minute and just look around.
The Privilege Walk.
If you were encouraged to attend college by your parents, please take one step forward.
Our Institute 2 involved a 2-day focus on complex systems and learning about systems of oppression. Institute 3 involved an intensive data-driven look at their school systems as participants shared their ideas for change. And lastly,
do you mind reading that list? I'm just curious what you came up with as a staff.
Our Kern and San Diego County teams held a convening to share their journey in the Continuous Improvement Process Equity Model, where they reflected on their team's change ideas, took note of how their practices evolved, and showed evidence of student learning and growth.
We were talking about how teachers provide multiple opportunities for all students to demonstrate mastery.
There's so much data, that we have available to us.
Dr. Shannon Coulter is the Director of Research and Evaluation for the San Diego County Office of Education.
These numbers, they do represent, real people.
When it comes to like tests, I always like fail. I don't know why. Like, even though I know the class, you know, I know like everything, but I fail the test because it's hard for me to read. Not because I don't know about it, but because the test.
The math is language-based, and they're not proficient in the language. That's going to show up in that math score.
Also during that first year following our equity launch,
Today's meeting is just, again, just process through like, how are you feeling? So it'll be kind of loose-tight.
our participants' schools had a site-based equity audit to assess how their school or district compares to high-performing urban schools across the U.S., schools that produce strong achievement results for every student demographic they serve.
So let's just open it up.
I think that it didn't tell us much that was really new, but it gave us recommendations that are actionable.
Our partners, the National Center for Urban School Transformation, created this process. Their methodology and best practices are detailed in the book Teaching Practices from America's Best Urban Schools, co-authored by NCUST's Executive Director, Dr. Joseph F. Johnson, who explains one of the biggest obstacles to achieving equity in our schools can be summed up in a single word: complacency.
I have heard people, superintendents and school board members and principals say, you know, we're really not doing too bad considering who they are serving. Oh no, what you're doing is bad considering what is possible for the children that you have the privilege to serve.
It's such a privilege that we're going to change our system to meet their needs. We need to have a conversation about why there is a predictability of failure for some of our African American students. And the numbers aren't changing very much. And it's our job to help to change those numbers. Or if it's students who are learning English as an additional language, it's our job to help change those negative outcomes.
Sometimes it's easy for us to develop an unwritten contract with the other students, the ones who come into class and put their head down and fall asleep, the ones who come into class with their headphones on and tune us out. Sometimes that unwritten contract is one that says, if you don't bother me, I won't bother you. That's not what we see in high-performing schools. Teachers recognize that they have an opportunity to make a powerful difference for every student.
Making a difference is exactly what our participants are determined to do. In fact, their growth from uncertainty during the first day of our equity launch,
it's just so complex,
to fierce determination 1 year later,
I no longer will stay silent. I'll have those conversations, those tough conversations with people,
is truly remarkable.
I'm a little nervous about it, but I feel like I'm surrounded by a positive team here. I've just become more comfortable with what is equity, how to approach it, how to deal with it in my personal life, and how to deal with it in my professional life. Be aware of my own actions and the actions of others I think is really important. So now I feel more confident in reaching the needs of all of my students and being able to educate my colleagues as well.
We are united in a profound, complex task to compassionately and purposefully disrupt the status quo in order to achieve equity for all.
Researcher Ron Edmonds used to say, if it has been done, it can be done. We've identified over 150 schools in 25 states where we see this kind of success. When we look at these schools, we don't see teachers with big S's painted on their chest. These are mortals. Mortals have done this. That inspires me. It makes me think, how can we learn from this? How can we support other schools in generating this kind of success? I do not yet have all of the answers. I'm sure that I never will. but the answers are there. The answers are in the practice of real teachers.
All of my colleagues, the other teachers, they're so positive and they're ready to do this work.
Real principals.
Just that drive that we can do this has been part of this process too.
If it has been done, it can be done.